What's up, guys? I'm Ernest Kidder. How's everybody doing on their end? Hope everybody's well. Uh, Welcome back to the Opinion Spot, where your opinion matters. um, Gosh, we're nearing 300 installments of the Opinion Spot. That's pretty badass. Um, and as you know, the Opinion Spot. I have a whole slew of segments for the Opinion Spot. A lot of them are coming out of what we heard from New York Comic Con this year. Like I said, I wish I could have gone, but work and things like that. And you know, maybe next year. That's all right. But finally, I'm here to do a response to my friend Lady K, aka ComicUno cat. And that is one thing I wish YouTube did not get rid of, is the response videos. You can't do that anymore. So you basically have to literally hand this over to the person, and I'll do that. But she did a video not too long ago, maybe a week or two ago, about a certain wall crawler transitioning into the small screen instead of the big screen. That is why I am wearing the Spidey shirt. It's all about Spider-Man. And once again, if it has anything to do with the webhead, I am all over it. Um, and I wanted to give my thoughts and opinions on the subject. I listened to Kat, what she had to say, and I honestly agree with what she had to say. Um, but I'm going to add my little flavor to the mix as well. So, in a perfect world, especially in my world, yes, Spidey would transition to the small screen. I think he is a character that can be good on the small screen, not just on the big screen. And let's face it, um, lately he's been kind of in a little bit of a slippery slope in terms of big screen. Um, you know, uh, 3 has been pushed back, and this and spin-offs and everything like that. There is indication that maybe Sony and Marvel Cinematic Universe, Marvel, can come to some kind of agreement to maybe having him in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That'd be great. I wouldn't mind, but you got to remember, Sony still owns the movie rights. Everything else, Marvel owns. TV rights, everything like that, Marvel owns. The cinema stuff is still with Sony. But we've seen Spidey on the small screen way back in the 70s, and if you don't believe me, just look it up. Um, Fortunately, I'm not a 70s baby, I'm an 80s baby, but I did see that 70s show, and uh, I don't know what I was watching, but it just looked very, very bad. I mean, he was the actor. I'm forgetting the actor's name, but he was very tall. He was a very tall actor. I'm not gonna. So Spidey was really tall in that show. When he would move around, he kind of moved like Igor a little bit. When he's moving around, like, why is he moving like that? Um, when he climbed walls, it really looked like he was grabbing, like, you know how you wall climb. That's literally how he looked, like he was putting his footing here and he's climbing, and I'm like, that looks so bad. And they always shot it from a certain angle, so it looked like it, so you couldn't really tell, like, if he was climbing up things. And he had one big web shooter on his right arm, I think, and you could literally see how big it was, like a big white shooter, and it just was bad. But times have changed, and I really think that Spidey could make it on the small screen. Um, Now, some probably would say, I don't know, because could you really see, especially the special effects? Look, all honesty, yeah, I could, because let's face it, you look at I'm looking at shows like Fallen Sky, and the special effects on that, and it's like this is a it's almost like a mini movie. The special effects on that, and of course you can say, well, you got to remember who's banking that. Steven Spielberg, yeah, true, but still, look at shows now like The Flash. The special effects on there look really good. It's not too bad, and for me, I think the biggest thing is for us is how he would look, especially web slinging and things like that. What would be more practical or special effects, but uh, I would love to see it because not only that, the show would actually explore a little bit more into Peter's life. We don't get to see that much on the movies. Like we get maybe bits and pieces, but nothing really solid. And with him, if he was ever to move to the small screen, we can get more character development between he and maybe his closest friends, depending on where they would put Peter, and would they put him after high school or in high school. For me, I would prefer after high school. Um, we would get him, maybe get more intake, especially with uh, like family, especially his. I think the relationship with him and Aunt may have been really showcased pretty well on on the big screen. But imagine on the small screen, it could go even further. Um, we can, with the small screen, we can add more of the Spider-Man universe in terms of other characters. Like I said, one of my biggest pet peeves about the just the whole general of Spider-Man in terms of supporting characters is how they portray Robbie Robinson. I don't like that. I don't like how they portrayed Robbie. I did not did not have a sense of caring for Robbie in his movie version of himself. Don't get me wrong, Bill Nunn is a very talented actor, but I didn't see how much the Robbie that we know. Robbie not only respects Peter as Peter, but as Spider-Man as well, and you see that Robbie is also like a fatherly figure to Peter, and he cares for Peter and things like that. Another example of what him on the small screen could do. We can really get those relationships down with the supporting characters, and then of course the biggest thing also would be the fact of the small screen would be a good way of introducing a lot of quote unquote Peter's C-list villains, his C-list rogues, and then of course you could have your major villain, play up who's the big story, season villain. But then you have your minor villains as well. I mean, like White Rabbit or Sin Eater or somebody like that, could play a big role in there. But like I said, the small screen can also be a good way of introducing some of Peter's close hero friends. And I'm not talking about the big well-known ones. I'm talking like somebody like Hobie Brown, the Prowler. You know, him and Hobie Brown and Peter became really good friends, and they know each other's identity. Um, and it was because of Spider-Man, Hobie turned over his life of crime and became a hero. When he first made the Prowler suit, he made it to be a villain. He wanted to be a villain. He wanted to, he was like, why would I want to be a villain? I got this. I'm gonna go out and steal and rob. And when Spidey caught him, he had an epiphany and was like, you know what? I'll change my ways. So introducing maybe a real Black Cat, Betty Bryant, Liz Allen. I can go on and on with the supporting characters, but and of course, yeah, the biggest thing is like, okay, where does this series take place in terms of, is it in the Amazing Spider-Man world and things like that? And then, of course, yes, the question is, we know, yes, it probably won't be done because Sony won't do it. But just imagine how uh, a small screen TV series of Spider-Man would go. I think it would benefit more for the character, as well as for, like I said, the whole Spider-Man world universe. Um, because once again, you're not going to get everything that you want in a 2 hour plus movie that we've seen. And let's face it, I didn't hate Amazing Spider-Man 2, but I can clearly see that things were missing out of that movie. And a friend of mine actually told me, he's like, get the Blu-ray or the DVD, especially the Blu-ray, and you can see so many scenes that are cut out of that movie, and you're looking at yourself like, why did they cut that out? That scene that was so essential to the movie. But honestly, I do believe that a Spider-Man TV series could work. It would be great to see. The question is, where would, that's the other question, what network would take it? Um, hmm, that's a good question right there. Uh, I I would assume maybe, I wouldn't say Fox. Um, I would probably say FX. Maybe. Um, but I'd probably a cable network. I would want it to be a cable network because they can maybe go a little bit. I'm not saying going darker because Spider-Man's not a dark character, but kind of push the envelope a little bit with the more adult theme, you know, which Spider-Man should be doing, not always too campy, but still have it be a fun series. But as for actors wise, I keep Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. Like, I'm like, yeah, okay, just keep him as Spider-Man. I like him. Um, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If Andrew Garfield wasn't chosen as Spider-Man when he first got, or they should have gotten uh, Grant Gustin, who plays Flash, he would have made a good Peter because he literally just plays Peter Parker as Barry Allen. I think he would have made a good Spider-Man. Um, but like I said, you can build up on the supporting cast, the relationships, um, use more villains, and in terms of, you have your major villain in terms of like the season villain, and then you got the C list or B list villains of Peter's huge rogues gallery, and you can use them. And then of course, you just showcase more of the Spider-Man universe and introducing other Spider-Man allies that you know may have that appeared in Spider-Man 1. Like I said, I gave an example, the Prowler. I would love to see the Prowler. Uh, sometime hopefully in the future. Probably won't, but yeah. Um, but that's how I would do a Spider-Man series, and I truly think a Spider-Man series could work. So once again, like I said, I agree on everything Kat said, and I just added my little spices to what she already talked about, and um, but I just wanted to get that out there, guys, and give my opinion on it. Yes, I wish there was one. I think it could benefit the character even more than on the big screen, because I sure would watch it. Um, that's just, I'm just being honest on that one. I would watch it in a heartbeat, uh, but you know, unfortunately, we'll never probably get that because Sony owns the character, and they there's no, yeah, there really is no sign of them trying to do that, or any sign of looking really at the character and like, what can we do with this character that may have already been done or has not been done, and but get people attention with it. You know, you could throw all the high tech and all the special effects you want, but still the one thing that's always going to attract us is the good storytelling. You got to have that. not a good story, then yeah, you're not gonna captivate me. You're not gonna grab me. Um, and there are so many good stories for Spider-Man in the Spider-Man world that could be really adapted to the small screen better. That's the other thing right there. Um, and I'm not talking about like something like Clone Wars or any Clone Saga or anything like that, but maybe. I hate to admit it, but yeah, maybe the Clone Saga could be adapted to the small screen, but I don't want it. but yeah. But other than that, guys, how do you feel about that? What do you think? Do you think Spider-Man could work in his own TV series, or do you feel that he's only suited for the big screen? He's too big to be stuck in the small screen. Personally, me, I see it the other way. I think he can work both ways, and but I would love to see a TV series, a better TV series um, that showcases everything of him, the essence of the Spider-Man universe. But other than that, guys, thank you for listening. This is M.V.K coming to you with the opinion spot. Uh, Looking forward to hearing you guys input. As you guys know me, I love input. I love hearing your opinions on the subject. And that's what the opinion spot is for. Um, and I will see you guys next time. Like I said, I have more stuff coming. I got to talk about. I got to talk about Daredevil. The look for Daredevil. I'm going to talk about. Um, I'm going to talk about uh, Spider Gwen getting her own ongoing series. I'll maybe say a little 2 cents about Silk, just that I'm not getting it. And talk about, I believe, Jeff Lemire, yeah, taking over Hawkeye. There are so many other things I want to talk about, but stay tuned, and I will see you guys next time. And I want to thank Kat. And as you all know, check out ComicUno. You won't be disappointed with her. She's a great uh, young lady. I can't believe I just said that. But yeah, and support her book, Like Father, Like Daughter. Um, Her own comic that's coming out. And check out her videos she did on. She was at Comic Con. She did a couple of interviews that were really cool. But other than that, like I said, just check her out. You won't be disappointed. I promise you. If you follow me, thank you. Follow my friends. There you go. Give a little, give a little respect. You get some in return. Uh, that's it. You guys take care.